Hello again and welcome to Shed Talk, my weekly magazine video series looking at the keeping, breeding and the showing of cage birds with a particular focus on the exhibition style budgerigars that you can hear chattering behind me. So in this episode we're going to have as I think I promised in the last one, we're going to have a quick look in nest box number 2 on cage 2, the nest box on cage 2. Mainly because in there we've got 4 youngsters and it's a bit of a multicoloured nest box, so I thought we'd have a look in there and after looking at the 2 parents, just have a quick discussion on why we might end up with so many different colours in a single nest box. Anyway, that's for this episode. Thank you to all those of you who took the time to watch the last video, and then who those of you that liked it. I think again we hit the 30 likes within just over 24 hours. I think it was, we managed to hit 30 likes, so big thumbs up to everybody for helping the video get up to that 30 like bracket. I think the last 2 videos prior to that where I've asked for likes, we've almost hit 40 on there, so which is really good news. So again, thank you very much for all those of you who liked the video. A big thank you to those who take the time to comment on it, particularly those who just say, you know, thank you very much, or I really enjoyed the show, that side of things. Always appreciated. Thank you for those of you who take the time to comment. Subscribers, as I say, the subscriber numbers are increasing, I think partly because of the number of likes. So for all those of you who have recently subscribed, thanks a lot. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, why not? Then hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the video. All the subscriptions help the channel to grow, so as always, a big thank you to those of you who recently subscribed and to those who are long-standing subscribers. And whilst I'm on the subject of long-standing subscribers, I think we've got almost 3.5 years, nearly 4 years worth of videos, Shed Talk videos in the, I suppose, the back catalogue, so if I can put it that way. So what I thought I would do is, over on the Shed Talk Facebook page, on a Wednesday, I'm going to post a video from from about this time, you know, either 1 year ago, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, over on the Facebook page. So just, I think we're going to call it something like midweek memories, something like that, I think. And it was just a bit of fun. I'll just post an old video so people can see how the channel has progressed over the years. And for those of you that haven't been watching for a long time, perhaps give you a chance to watch one of the older videos. Anyway, like I say, in this video we're going to have a look in that nest box. What I thought I'd do first though is just show you what I meant when I said when I first come into in the last video, first come into the shed, sometimes I can see if that hen's been in the nest box or not. Well, in the last episode we discussed nest box management. I spoke quite a lot, actually, far too much about nest box management. And I suggested when you first put a pair down that I filled the nest box up with the chipping, so it went in there, and that sometimes when I first come into the shed, when I'm starting my checks around the nest boxes, I can tell if a hen's been in the nest box, not only by the fact that she's cleared, that you can, when you open the nest box, you can see that she's been in there by moving the chippings around, or the bedding around, but also sometimes you get a little bit at the bottom of the cage or sometimes on the floor. Well, one of the pairs we put down at the end of the last episode has done just that, and as you can probably see from this short clip, you can see what I mean by sometimes the hen will have moved a little bit onto the bottom of the cage. Actually, in this case, it is quite a lot onto the bottom of the cage, so really pleased to know that the hen has been in the nest box. I do know it's a hen because I've actually come in and seen her coming out of the nest box, so I know she's been going in and out, which is really good news for that particular pair. I expect most of you can probably guess which one it is, but I will obviously reveal that in the upcoming episode. Anyway, I thought I'd just talk about that before we move on to have a look at those chicks that are in cage number 2, which is the cage just behind me here. So cage 2, nest box number 2, which is a lutino cockbird that we crossed to a Opaline Cinnamon Light Green hen. And those of you that have been watching for a little while may remember in the first round they had a number of greens, normal greens, and one albino. So unfortunately the albino, we lost that after it had fledged, so it had come out of the nest box, but prior to weaning we lost it. We're not quite sure why, but the fact that we had an albino bird in the box told us that both these birds must be split for blue, so they must be, you know, hiding the blue gene, which otherwise we wouldn't have had the albino. And I could look back through the records of the hen because she's mine, and I can find out where that is, on which side of the family that is, just by checking my records. Obviously for the cockbird which we got from Terry Sadler, without me going back to Terry and saying, you know, do you know what the background of this bird is, we wouldn't have known, but we do now know that it is definitely split for blue. So at least we knew that already. But there's some interesting stuff in the nest box at the moment, and I will show you the birds, a look at the birds now. While we're doing that, you may notice that some of the birds have got a slight shine to them, the youngest ones, and that's because this hen has a tendency to feather pluck, and I've tried lots of things at the moment. The first round she feather plucked a little bit in the first round as well. All of the birds are fully recovered from that from the first round, so I'm not too worried, other than the discomfort it might be for these for the youngsters having the mum pluck at them. And I've tried lots of things. I've got the normal stuff of putting, you know, millet spray in there to try and distract the hen from doing it. My final hope here is I've smothering the bare patches of the skin where she has feather plucked with some petroleum jelly, so the stuff you get for kids and that. And I have heard that sometimes the taste of that, when the hen goes to peck at the birds, the taste of that puts her off, so she will stop doing it. I'm hoping that's the case. We'll find out anyway. Let me know in the comments if you have found a cure for a hen that is feather plucking. This is this hen. We didn't get anything off this hen last year, so we didn't know that she was a feather plucker, otherwise we might not have put her down. Anyway, enough of that. So you can see the birds, you can see that all the birds, all 4 of them have been feather plucked. It looks worse on the youngest too, because I think as the feathers are coming through, the hen's picking on those, but all of them have been the hen has feather plucked them. Anyway, so you can see from the nest box, as you're looking at this, that we've got 4 youngsters in there. The eldest one is a normal light green, and you know, we had that off the last pairs, so we're not overly surprised about the normal light green. After all, we got 2 green series birds in the cage. The second eldest, however, you can see from here, actually the colours look really, really nice, I think, of this one, the combination of the colours. So we've got a normal sky blue, but it's a yellow face. So we've got a normal yellow face sky blue. No, so that tells us that the 2 blue genes that this pair, the cockbird and the hen, are carrying, one of those must be the yellow face mutant 1 gene. So 2 different blue genes, and that's given us that yellow face in the nest box. Now that may well be the hen. I'd need to go back and double check, and I'll let you know at the end of the episode whether it is the hen, whether the hen has any relationship or any relations that are yellow face birds. If not, then it's probably the lutino that's masking it. And my guess would be that the albino that we had in the nest box at the beginning was also a yellow face, but was being masked by the albino. That would be my guess. Let me know if the albino does mask yellow face, or whether we would have seen some of that come through. because I certainly didn't see it on that particular albino. The other bird in the nest is a lutino, as you can see. So we've got a red eye in there, a lutino red eye. Touch wood, that will make it to the nappy flight at the minimum, and hopefully it will survive so that we can breed with that bird next year. We also know, and I mentioned it before in a previous episode, if you haven't seen that, go back and have a look. We also know that that has got to be a hen, because the hen isn't a I know type bird, so it isn't albino or lutino, so the cockbird must have passed one of those on, which means it's hen. It's the way the sex links worked anyway. If you don't know, just go back and have a look at the previous video, or alternatively check out my beginner's guide to genetics, where it's all fully explained in there. And the final one, a little bit too early to say, but it looks to me, it's definitely not an albino. It looks to me like it is going to be another normal green. So nest box full of multicolours there, and I'm particularly pleased and hope that we can bring off to adulthood, so to speak, get them on the perch, is the lutino and that yellow face, because the yellow face are very attractive colours at the moment in the nest box. So that's a very quick look at the that particular nest box. Let me know your thoughts, and like I say, if you're unclear about the genetics behind that, then do go and have a look at I've done a series on a beginner's guide genetic video series, and also over on the Facebook page there is a downloadable PDF that is my beginner's guide to colour genetics in budgerigars, which I hope is a fairly simple introduction to how to identify, or how inheritance works around the colour in budgerigars. So anyway, that is cage number 2. And a quick look at the youngsters in there. All we've got to do now is try and get those onto the perch. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little look at the multicoloured rainbow nest box, and do let me know if you have any surefire ways of stopping feather plucking. I've not found any guaranteed way of stopping all hens from feather plucking. Like I say, I'm trying the petroleum jelly Vaseline on them, see if that does work. The only good thing about I suppose the first nest of chicks that were also a little bit feather plucked is, as I said, they've all been fine. They've all got all their feathers back, so it's not been a major issue in terms of the overall standard of those birds. But if you have got something, then do leave it in the comments. I thought what I'd do before we go, and this is a slightly shorter episode than the last two, which were, I think, a little bit too long, but I never know. Some people seem to enjoy the longer episodes, some people first like the short ones. But this is going to be a slightly shorter episode. But before we go, I thought we'd have a quick look at chick number 1. This is the one that we ended up fostering out the egg because their mum wouldn't feed the first 2 that hatched in that nest. And it's growing on really well, as I hope you can see here. I'm reasonably sure this is an Opaline Cinnamon grey. That's certainly what it looks like to me, although it is very, very pale, but I guess that's the cinnamon influence in taking some of the colour out of the feathers. It's actually quite an attractive looking bird, and it's quite big in the nest box. Certainly when you compare it with some of the others in the others that we just looked at, it looks like it's going to be quite a substantial sized bird, which is always helpful. And I also think that very shortly it's going to be out of the nest box. So again, let me know your thoughts on chick number 1, which I think we said we'd follow through right the way through till it ends up being weaned, and perhaps we'll give it a try out on the show bench and see how it gets on out there. And I think it looks to me like it's going to be a cockbird. So like I say, that was a slightly shorter episode. That brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed it, please do hit that like. I really would like to get into those 30 likes again. As I say, it helps the channel, helps give the video a bit more view. across the whole of YouTube. But until the next one, as always, please do stay safe, enjoy your birds.